Ba-da-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da. Time keeps on slipping, slipping, slipping
Into the future.
Ah, man, I
What's
gotta tell
up?
you, I have to make a confession right now.
Yeah.
I love the Steve Miller Band.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do. Every song that you hear on the radio from them,
Mm-hmm.
Keep on a rocking me, baby.
Yeah.
Keep on a rock. I went from Phoenix, Arizona, all the way to Alaska, or whatever.
All the way to Alaska.
Greetings, citizens of Earth. Welcome to Accelerativ Thrust. I am Dan.
And I'm Eric. My voice sounds like weird. Super weird. Oh, wait. I know what it is. I think I know why my voice sounds weird. Yeah, I found it. Okay, there we go. It's normal now.
Oh, okay. I guess I didn't think it was that abnormal.
I had a track on Reaper set to record. So I was hearing myself and that, and so it was like a chorus kind of effect.
Did it have a little warble to it?
A little warble.
A warble.
Yeah, a warble.
Warble. Oh, man.
Wow.
I could honestly just say that.
Mr. Warble.
We could just say warble for like a half an hour, and I would be satisfied with this episode.
Well, it'd probably do as well as the last one.
Warble. Warble.
I gotta see. I want to see the analytics. It seems to be doing as well as anything else.
Anything else that we put out? Yeah.
Actually, it's fun. Like, I feel like we've been getting a few more downloads, kind of. So
yeah, well, I think
nice.
I do think that the half-hour thing helps a little bit in that regard.
Yeah,
I think people are like, well, I suppose I could put up a half hour a week with these clowns.
Yeah.
Hey,
these clowns are smiling. These clowns have seen a lot of clowns, and they're gonna do some clowning with you.
Hey, what is that?
These clowns are crying. These Eyes by Blood, Sweat, and Tears. You know that song?
Yeah, These Eyes. Yes,
it's a great song.
What's that Korn song? Tell me I'm a pussy and you're hotter than me.
Oh, I don't know.
It's off that first record, Clown. It's the
I see
the song Clown. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The video shows them like coming at you, like
oh shit,
on a in some high school hall or something, and they like roll, and it's like a really weird, like weirdly shot video.
Hey, what's your favorite clown song?
Man, that's a really, really good question. I mean, the first Mr. Bungle album is clown adjacent. Because
I don't know if they say clown.
Yeah, they don't really say clown. That's a hard one. I don't know. Clowns get a bad rap. A lot of people,
especially if they're Insane Clown Posse.
Yeah, if they're Insane Clown Posse,
they're
sure.
Bad rap. Get it?
What is a juggalo? A dead body.
They have a bad rap.
Jesus.
That is that was like that was beyond a dad joke, man.
Yeah, that was a granddad joke.
It was a bad joke.
It was a bad dad joke.
A bad dad joke. I'm a bad dad.
I'm a bad dad.
I learned it by watching you.
My favorite clown song it's called Clowns by Too Much Joy. It's a great song.
What era is that band from?
Oh, the 80s.
Okay. Is it like a new wave type thing or something?
I would say they were kind of like college rock. Like like a little bit goofier, like Replacements or something.
Oh,
I don't know.
Okay.
They were kind of fun and goofy, but also like I don't know, real music. Anyway, Clowns is great. It's a great song.
A clown with a gun, I hope I never see. Would he shoot himself? Or should we?
Oh shit, I forgot about Clowny Clown Clown by Crispin Glover.
Oh
my God. Great song. Great album.
I'm sorry.
Super underrated.
Crispin Glover his whole like album is kind of like a little outsider, isn't it?
Yeah. It's
just to like
oh God, it's one of the best. It is. Seriously, the first time I heard it, I was like, oh, I'm weird. I get it now. And I love this. Like,
did it make you did it make you discover yourself a little more?
A little bit. I felt seen. That's for sure.
So we can attribute all of the traits that Eric Whitacre as the adult feels to how he felt when he first heard Crispin Glover.
That's not inaccurate.
That changed you.
Yeah.
Clown. Ugly clown.
Anyways, speaking of music and speaking of records, we're still into that kind of thing, aren't we?
Seemingly. Yeah.
We have a record that we both listened to this week.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, everybody, it's record time. And it was from a band, this time a band of seemingly three people from Sonora, California. And my mouth always waters whenever I hear Sonora because there's this thing called a Sonora dog.
Okay.
Which originated down in Tucson, Arizona. And when I went to visit my sister, I had two of them. Do you know what a Sonoran dog is, Eric?
No.
2 hot dogs wrapped in bacon that are deep fried.
Okay.
And on top of it is some pinto beans, some relish, and some mustard, and some like salsa or like green salsa type stuff. And then like some mayonnaise. It is, it sounds ridiculous because it is, but it's also insanely delicious. And it's on like this potato bun.
Ooh, you've had one?
I've had 2.
Shit.
No, wait, I had 3.
Wow.
I had 2 the first time I went down to Tucson. Then I had another one, which was from the zoo, the Tucson Zoo, which wasn't as good. But there's a restaurant in Tucson that is like thought to be the originators of this thing. So it's like the main place. Like it's one of those places where it's like, if you come to Tucson, you got to come here, sort of thing.
Okay.
Anyway, I got.
But these guys are from California.
These guys are from California, Sonora, California. Yes.
Oh, okay. I got it now. Okay.
But I'm saying that the name Sonora makes my mouth.
You said
water,
it's a double hot dog. So if you had 3, you actually had.
No. It's not a double hot dog. I just had 2 of them.
Oh, I thought you said it was dogs. 2 hot dogs.
No. It's
wrapped in bacon.
Wrapped in bacon and deep fried. Okay. Man. Anyway, so Sonora.
Sounds good.
And so Sonora, they're from the tasty city of Sonora, California.
Ah, yes.
So this band is called Wet Meadow. And as far as I can tell, Wet Meadow consists of Joel, Zach, and Jim Meadow. I have no idea if that's their real last name. Probably not. But honestly, like this record is it's a very interesting type of record because it is kind of hard to nail down exactly what this is. I guess I can kind of tell that they're maybe not being 100% serious all the time.
I would say that's likely. Yeah.
And it's a very fun record. It's so basically like the best way I can describe this is psychedelic kind of doom metal. And it seems to be about a lot of partying, but there is definitely like a lot of different things kind of going on that makes it a little bit different than what you would like you can't just compare this to something like Electric Wizard and then be done with it. I feel like
no,
there's
not at all.
A lot of things that are going on here that make it kind of stand out. The production on it is pretty dense. It's got kind of it has a party vibe to it, actually. And what I mean by that is it, for me anyway, and I'd be interested to hear your perspective on this, Erik,
Mm-hmm.
but for me, it did kind of have that feeling of like being at a party
Mm-hmm.
and being kind of a little drunk or high or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Crossfaded.
yeah, crossfaded, and then going downstairs and there's like a drum set up, a bass guitar setup, a guitar setup, and there's like, maybe some bongos or something, and people
Sure.
are just kind of having a jam session.
I think that's pretty good description, because
Yeah.
I mean, it does feel like there was a general concept possibly for the songs, but it does feel pretty improvisational.
Yes.
A lot of it.
I looked into some of their earlier release. Now, this is the only album that I found on Spotify,
Okay, yeah.
but they have a Bandcamp page,
Mm-hmm.
and they have a lot of other releases on Bandcamp. Whether or not they're official albums or not, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But one of their releases that I looked into actually said songs were improvised.
Mm-hmm.
This doesn't fully feel improvised to me. Like it does feel loose and it does feel spontaneous, but
Mm-hmm.
there does seem to be a general, like, sort of like, maybe what happened is they kind of came up with a riff and let's just kind of keep jamming on this.
It's really fun though. It's super irreverent. I would say it's confrontational almost.
For sure. For sure.
And it, because of that, and I do think there's stoner kind of elements to it, but it's mostly like the riff part of it, more than the presentation. Like for me, it reminded me a lot of, so in the 90s, back in the 90s, most record stores around had like a bin of local music, okay? And it kind of is different now. Like local music, we cover local bands and stuff. And they, make the production as good as they can. They practice the songs and stuff. But it wasn't always like that. Like back in the day, you would just grab a cassette and not know what the hell it was, and a lot of it sounded just like this. I had a cassette by a group called Bloody Nose. They were from Cedar Falls, and it is so similar to this that it's like, I don't know, it's just really interesting to me. Like, this is a group of people just getting together and making a cacophony for fun, Like, I don't think the intentions are that I'm going to walk away humming the melodies to these songs, but because of that, it reminded me of certain things like that, like the first Butthole Surfers record.
Yes.
Super similar to that, or 3 Day Stubble, or any of the Church of the Subgenius kind of bands, like they all have this element to it. Like, we're not doing this to make songs, we're doing this to make noise, Yes. And I think that for me, that's how it comes across. Like kind of just like really confrontational geek rock,
Yeah.
Just like, yeah. And so it kind of reminded me of a kind of a bygone era, and I appreciated that. At first I was like, this is it. This is what we're doing. Like, but then I just kind of leaned into it and enjoyed it for what it is, and it's basically some dudes getting together and making some noise, and that's fine, like the vocals really add this other element to it though. Like I mentioned, the Butthole Surfers, it's a lot like that.
Gibby Haynes.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. Tons of delay, like not even in a normal delay kind of way. Like most delay on vocals is you say the word or whatever and then it repeats, right? This is doesn't make any sense. It just sometimes repeats, sometimes the delay is in front of the words. I mean, it's just chaos.
Yeah.
Total chaos. And the vocals actually go between kind of that twangy, almost like Butthole Surfers to almost like David Yao or even like Unsane or something.
Yeah.
Like I don't, and a lot of it is bass heavy, which also lends itself to things like No Means No or Jesus Lizard or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And like there was so many things I thought of. Saint Vitus, as far as like the stoner element of it, because Saint Vitus is really loose, and they're also not really concerned with you liking the sounds they're making, and
right.
I don't know, Sun City Girls, like so much different things. I ended up really loving it. Like I said at the beginning, I was like, I don't know if I can handle this right now. But then I just had a lot of fun with it and took it for what it is, which is something you don't hear very often anymore, at least not recorded and released.
It definitely took me, like, I totally get what you're saying. It's kind of a record that I feel like you owe it to yourself to give it more than one listen, because I think the first time that you get through it, the kind of shock, kind of what the hell did I just listen to sort of thing, and not in a bad way, but just sort of like, like you said, there's not really much like this that exists anymore. But when you listen to it like a second or third time, it's almost like this record then starts to kind of take you on a journey. Okay, so there's another element when you're talking about the vocals and the delay and everything. There's another element to this thing that I kind of like caught on to, and I don't know, maybe I'm reaching, maybe you're totally going to disagree with me, Eric, but I do think that there is kind of an outsider element to it, where it's like, so it's like the second or third song, I don't remember, the vocalist starts doing this sort of spoken word part, and it kind of has like a twang to it. And I was listening and I'm like, this totally reminds me of something, and I couldn't quite put my finger on it. And I listened to this album probably 6 times this week. And I was just, because honestly, it's intriguing. It really is. Like you want to go back and listen to it. It's almost hypnotizing in a way. I know that
does have a drony element to it.
It has a drony element, all right. But anyway, then I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? This actually sounds almost like The Residents in a way.
Sure, I can see that.
I'm sitting here listening to this, like the way that he's enunciating words. And then you mentioned something about the Church of the Subgenius. That seems to be all over this, because like I actually went and like looked up some like YouTube videos, because I'm like, okay, I want to see like what these guys look like, and they're all wearing like it seems to be wearing costumes, like there's like an absurd element to this whole thing, it seems like.
Yeah, for sure.
And it does make me wonder if there's like maybe they are, I mean, they seem to be like maybe around our age. And so I wonder if maybe they're kind of into that sort of culture. And then like another thing that this reminds me of, you mentioned the Butthole Surfers, which that's honestly the first thing that came to mind before any like sludge metal reference. Because I do see an Electric Wizard, I do see a Sleep thing. The other thing that I hear in this is Ween. Like a lot.
I can see it.
So I don't know, man. I hear like The Residents, I hear like Ween.
Right, that's funny, because isn't the description of Wet Meadow 3 moist boys making noise?
Yeah,
so
and I forgot to bring that up.
That's similar.
That most likely that's a Moist Boys reference, I wonder.
It seems like it could be. Seems
like it could be, and it's like I mean, and then also like some of the more droney parts do kind of remind me of like Sleep, Ohm, Black Sabbath. I do think there's like a Black Sabbath thing for sure. Like some of these riffs are really heavy. The production on it is very, very like, it's very dense and very, like you said, there's a lot of delays, probably some reverb going on.
Yeah, and it almost has that 4-track feel to it
Yeah.
as well, to me. Like, there's no way this wasn't recorded all together, you know?
It does sound to me very live, and like it might have actually possibly been recorded analog. I wouldn't be surprised. And it probably was recorded in a basement, and I would suspect that they probably record themselves. And if that's the case, that's awesome. This is honestly, in a lot of ways, I feel like this is the way music should be sometimes. What did we learn today?
We learned that you should have fun making music. And if you're having fun, that's enough. That's kind of what I took from this. Like, that's what this made me think of, this album. Like,
for sure.
People just making some music to have fun. End of story. No other expectations. It's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I do got to say that if you do want to get a hold of us, accelerativ.thrust@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Also, the Instagram, send us a message. And
or like it. You could click like when we post about a new episode. That would make us. That would make me feel good, at least. It'd probably make Dan feel good.
Yeah, absolutely. It puts a smile on our face.
Yeah.
Interact with us a little bit,
Yeah.
We'll interact with you.
Yeah. You, whoever you may be.
Whoever you may be.
Oh, we should talk about what we've been listening to.
We really should. You're right. You're right.
Go for it.
Okay. So this week I discovered an artist by the name of Charles Moothart, who I guess I just figured out just recently that Charles Moothart apparently is or was, I don't know if they're still a group or not, but a member of the band Fuzz with Ty Segall. Okay. And he has, and I say he because I assume that it's a guy, a solo guy, but I don't know. Maybe there's a band called Charles Moothart. But he's got an EP called Soft Crime. And it's only 3 songs, so it's basically a single. And then a record called Black Holes Don't Choke. And they are very different from one another in that the Soft Crime EP is very much electro punk or electronic punk kind of. And then the full album explores, it does have that element to it, but explores a lot of, I don't know, I guess straight up rock and roll elements. Kind of like maybe prog rock. There's like a little bit of an acoustic guitar and folk music feel. But what's really interesting about Charles's voice is it kind of sounds like a punk rock, if this is possible, a punk rock Phil Collins. And so we were just talking about Phil Collins.
Always.
And always talking about Phil Collins. So that has been on my rotation more than anything else. Other than that, Wet Meadow. I've been listening to that a lot. Nice. It really is a very mesmerizing record. I've kind of gone back and revisited, I guess at this point you could call it egg punk. stuff. But yeah, I used to call it kind of spazzy punk.
Yeah.
Arab on Radar.
Yeah.
Also, the Man Forever, who we reviewed, which is Kid Millions from Oneida's solo project. Very interesting.
Nice.
You remember that? The Play What They Want.
Yeah, I think so.
Also, that Buck Gooder album that we reviewed. I've been listening to that again. So
nice. Buck Gooder is great.
Oh man, it's the only album I've heard from them. But just like Wet Meadow, they have a lot of other things. So I need to go check them out a little bit.
Nice. I've been listening to an artist called Esquerita. Esquerita. And basically, Esquerita is a variant Little Richard. I don't know how else to say it. He's like Little Richard. I mean, he's from the time period. And he looks the same, kind of, except his pompadour is bigger. And he sounds the same, except that his voice is more wild. And the production is really, really wild rock and roll. And it's phenomenal. So if you like Little Richard, but want a crazier version, and I mean, it sounds just like Little Richard, but crazier, Esquerita. It's pretty cool stuff. I think Rockin' the Joint is the record I've been listening to. I've been listening to the newest Amnesia Scanner record because I love them. I don't know what else, really. That's about it, I guess. Cybotron from the 70s.
That is so interesting that you mentioned.
From 1980, I guess. Yeah.
So like, what's Cybo? There's two Cybotrons. There's a Cybotron, I think, that has like members of Can maybe or something. And then there's the Cybotron, which is kind of like funk, sort of like electro funk type stuff. Is that the one?
This one, I think, is mostly just like kind of krautrockish. Yeah.
Okay.
But so also like new wavy kind of. I don't know.
Okay. So then you're probably listening to the 70s Cybotron, and then there's like another artist called Cybotron, which is more kind of, I don't know, hip hop funk type stuff. And he's a solo artist from like the 80s. And Enemy Chuck played Cybotron, the 80s hip hop artist, on his radio show.
Right. Yeah. It's like bootsy kind of sound and stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. That particularly, it reminded me of that Zillotron album that Bootsy
Zillotron.
did.
I haven't listened to that in years. I'll have to throw that on. Good stuff.
I found it in the Dollar Bennett record collector.
Nice.
Yeah. And
sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. What's up?
No, I just remembered because I was thinking of Bootsy, which made me think of Buckethead, which made me think of the group Cornbugs. I don't know if you've listened to Cornbugs.
No, I haven't.
Cornbugs is basically Buckethead, and the music's kind of basically Buckethead-ish, a kind of weird carnival side of Buckethead. But then the vocals are Bill Moseley, who was in the House of a Thousand Corpses movie.
Right.
And he plays Chop Top in Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2.
Music is my life.
And he is Chop Top in the recordings. Like, he's the character Chop Top singing over Buckethead music.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, the reason I bring it up is because that is one thing that Wet Meadow, the vocals reminded me of as well.
Oh, yeah?
Those Cornbugs. So, yeah. So it took a long way to get there, but that's the reason I was thinking of it.
Yeah. So that brings another, like, sort of, I guess you could say, outsider element to the equation.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I always just want to mention Cornbugs too.
Yeah.
I figure everyone should hear it. It's not very good, gotta be honest. But it's fun. It's weird.
Yeah. Man, do you remember that group Praxis?
Oh yeah, I loved Praxis.
Heck yeah. Buckethead.
Who all was that?
I know it was Bootsy. Buckethead.
And
I think
Bill
it was
Laswell.
Yeah, Bill Laswell. I think it was
And Bertie Worrell.
Bernie Worrell. I think it was wasn't it kind of like a rotating cast with each record or something?
Yeah, I think so. And Brain was the drummer. Yeah.
Brain.
Man, Praxis. I haven't listened to that in years either. I'm going to listen
Me
to that.
neither.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of there was one record in particular from them, but I can't think of what it was.
Transmutation.
Transmutations.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's great.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, I'm going to go listen to that like right now. And so should you, listeners.
Yeah, you really should. I mean, if you're into like Mike Patton, John Zorn type stuff, and
or P-Funk.
Yeah, P-Funk or P-Funk, but like a weird mixture of like that with like thrash and free jazz and
Zorn stuff.
Zorn stuff. Yeah,
I mean,
all kinds.
You can't go wrong with Transmutation or Metatron or Sacrifist.
Yeah, all
that shit's awesome. And
it really is.
Honestly, not very many people have probably listened to it. I think in Muscatine we had just some sort of weird little pocket of people that listened to this kind of stuff, and it spread to other people and other groups associated with that. But outside of our little kind of Muscatini group, I've never met another person who's listened to Praxis.
Yeah, crazy.
I'm going to cut all this out. We're just talking about Muscatini right now.
Well,
we might as well just say bye.
Yeah, we might as well. Bye.
Okay, bye. All right, now we can keep talking.
Now we can just keep bullshit.
Hey, what's your favorite clown song?